Welcome to the Mono Labs podcast. We believe that curiosity leads to questions, and questions lead to innovation of new perspectives that help us be more dynamic creative beings. In this first season, we focus on men's mental health. Hello, my name is Vinny Mono, and in this episode, we talk about fear. Before we start the episode, I wanted to let you know the structure of this episode. I have 5 questions that I believe that every man should answer when it comes to fear. And then towards the end of the episode, I'm going to be providing some tools and resources in hopes of helping the listeners answer their own questions when it comes to fear so that they can become a more dynamic creative being. All right, let's get started. Question number 1, what do you think men fear the most? I think that men fear 4 things. That they're not going to be able to protect their loved ones, they're not going to be able to provide for their loved ones, and they're not going to be able to have the resources to protect and provide for their loved ones and for themselves. And last thing is fearing of not being part of a community. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about, am I fit enough to protect my family or to protect people that I am surrounded by that need help? Do I have the resources in getting more financial support or financial investment so that I can provide the life that I want for myself, but also for my family? And the older that I get, the more that I recognize that my community shrinks every 2 years. I've been fortunate enough to live in a lot of different places and to have friends from all over the world. I do miss my friends a lot. I also understand that I'm just in a different place. Being a father, and having different responsibilities that I didn't have before. And so I've been trying to be very intentional in being part of a community and reaching out to my friends, that ones that are far, but also ones that are close by. As a father, the best thing and the most important thing to me is being with my family, spending time and seeing new adventures happen and new understanding, and seeing my child experience something new for the first time. Those are the moments that I don't want to miss. And I know that one of my biggest fear is that I will be so focused in trying to collect resources and trying to provide for my family that I miss out on the key development moments that I can have with my child. The second question is, if you had to talk to your fears, what type of questions would you ask? And which version of you would you be talking to? I love this question. The version of me that I'll be talking to would be my 12-year-old self. I think one question I'll ask myself is, do you think that you're not good enough? Why don't you think you're good enough to accomplish what you are trying to accomplish in this time and space? I would also ask my 12-year-old self, why do I feel like I need to accomplish everything at once? Why can't I space out the projects that I'm interested in pursuing? And the last question that I'll ask myself would be, why did you not say, I love you more to your brothers? The reason why I would talk to my 12-year-old self is because I remember during that time, I was so confused in the person that I wanted to be in the world and the person that I was trying to be in the world. I remember that a lot of people were telling me that I am meant for greatness. A lot of people were telling me that I am a leader, that I should be mentoring people, that people are looking up to me. And I just felt that I had this, like, I had a lot of eyes on me for some reason, and that I had to live by other people's expectation of who they thought I was destined to be versus the person that I was just trying to be. And honestly, at that time, I was just focused on maximizing the things that brought the most joy in my life. And during that time, it was sports, dance, and movies. A lot of movies. I remember I would bench watch like SpongeBob. I would I would look into like the indie films at Best Buy and also at Blockbuster. And any money that I had, I would save up to go and buy movies. And my mom would make jokes. She's like, "You are spending all your money on movies and you forget that it's better to save up your money so you can buy something that allows you to create movies." And I would tell her, I was like, I just want to watch these films. They're so captivating. And there's something about, I remember at the time, like, it was like King Kong. King Kong was like the film the remake that when it came out, I was like, I really want to watch this. There's something amazing about how cinematic it is. And I didn't have the words that I have now to describe the film. Um, I just remember I was really into movies. And how I would answer myself as a 12-year-old talking to me now, I would say, hey, older self, Vinny, the things that you think that you have to do in order to be liked by people, you don't have to do those things. I'm very fortunate that I had people around me that kept me grounded. I'm very fortunate that I had friends and family and siblings that really, really like celebrated the uniqueness that I brought to the family. Question number 3: how have you overcome your fears? I haven't overcome my fears. I've gained the resources in knowing how to differentiate between fears that keep me alive and fear that is holding me back from living the life that I want to live. I love when caterpillars transform into butterflies. It is such a great visual metaphor of how I've been able to understand what it means to overcome my own fears. As the caterpillar grows, its skin gets tight and cracks open, revealing a new, bigger skin below. They shed their skin 4 to 5 times. When the caterpillar reaches adulthood, it transforms into a pupa, a type of receptacle in which it transforms into a butterfly. What I've learned about fear is that I have to do the internal work to shed my skin, to shed my understanding of what is no longer true in my life in order for me to be a more vibrant human being that understands that in my life, there is the fear that's keeping me alive. There are certain things I know about myself that I just wouldn't do. One of those things is riding a motorcycle. I know that I have this adventure, extreme adventure nerve within me. And so it's just things that I wouldn't do because I know that if I try it, I want to try it to the extreme and possibly just end my life. And so I choose not to engage in certain things that I know that is going to be used in a way that is not helpful to my body, not helpful to the person that I want to be. And the other fear that I've noticed in my life is the fear that I tell myself, or the lies that I tell myself in order to prevent me from doing the things that I want to do in this life. And so being able to distill that has been very helpful. And I feel like over the years, I've been able to shed essentially my own fears in becoming more of a vibrant, dynamic human being. Question number 4. What do you think holds men back from overcoming their fears? I think one of the big things that holds men back from overcoming their fears is the ability to have people around them that can speak truth into their lives and that can speak out the BS that the mind is telling them about their fears. I also do believe that as having a good community is one way that can stop holding men back from being locked in their fears. I always say, Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ubuntu. I am here because of we. I am here, I am who I am because of you are who you are. I'm probably just butchered that saying. But the concept is just, I am my community. And if I don't have a community, then I am my own island. And I cannot overcome the feeling of loneliness by myself. I can overcome the fear of not being good enough by myself. Someone has to help, and I have to be conscious enough of choosing people that bring life into my life and speak truth. And I think that one way people can find those communities and build those good friendships that people talk life into them and speak against their fears is by making a list of individuals that you have currently or you've had in the past that held you accountable. Question number 5. What advice would you give someone who is struggling with their fears? One advice that I'll give a person who is struggling to overcome their fear is to read about anxiety, is to read about the fear response, is to go to therapy. Therapy is great. That too. But I also think that it is our own responsibility as men to do the internal work to shed the skins that no longer suit us, or shed the skin that we think suits us but actually don't. I also do believe that it's really important to do the emotional work. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and they said that humans are not taught to process their emotions. And I said, well, yeah, look at what is considered entertainment. We are given a hyper extreme version of the same 5 emotions, which is love, rage and anger, pride, happiness, and the 5th one is loneliness, depression. And so the characters that we see on TV or we read about, they have those emotions and they struggle with it. And a lot of that is centered around fear. And so I think that if we, as a society, were giving out the emotional apps that allow each human being to be more vibrant, I think that the number one emotion that I would have everyone dive deep into understanding more is the emotion of anxiety, emotion of fear, and the emotion of love, and how those 3 play hand in hand. In my life, I've been thinking about, when it comes to my own fear, where I am in my life as a father, as an adult. I've been thinking about the fear of living in a country where the values of individuals are not cared for, are not seen valuable. And so I ask myself, what type of world am I raising my child in? I fear that the influence of the world on my child will break down any foundation that my partner and I try to build within the household. And so how do I keep the outside influence from poisoning what I'm trying to build here? And in a way, I think that's impossible to protect children from the dangers of the world. Also, at the same time, I believe is that it is our choice, our purpose as parents to create an environment within the world that allows for our children to be protected, to be resourceful, and most importantly, for them to be in a community that allows them to be their full dynamic self. And I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate that fear, but I know that it starts with me being intentional with where I put my efforts and where I put the connections that I want my child to be connected to outside of the household. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that as you continuing the journey of overcoming fear, that you take some time to be proud of yourself. Who you were a year ago is a different person. Who you were 5 months ago is a different person. And so thank you, and I'll catch you on the next one.